guess thanks again for joining me on the call today. So I guess for everyone out there in the crypto den in the Facebook there, this is our very first interview that we're doing with a project. So we've got a nice Aussie project to kick it all off with ShareRing. So I've got the CEO and co-founder Tim, who's joined us today for a little bit, and just sort of go over a bit about what the project does, how long they've been around, and sort of what their long-term projects and that kind of stuff are. So I think it's awesome that Tim's put his hand up to be part of this, and we'll try and make this as organic as possible and see how we go. But if anyone has any other questions after, obviously I know this is pre-recorded, just swing us some questions and posts below, and I can try and get in contact with Tim and get those answered for you. But I guess, so thanks again for joining us, Tim. Really appreciate it.
Thanks, Sean.
So I think probably the very first question that we probably really want to go over, I mean, with as ShareRing as a project. So with yourself, what's the main sort of problem that you guys were looking to try and solve and address out there in the world when you guys started up?
Yeah, so I've actually been involved in the sharing economy for probably about 10 years now through other companies I've either invested in or started myself. And there's a number of problems that we've found that are involved with the sharing economy. One of them is you've got companies like Airbnb and Uber and those that are simply intermediaries. So they are essentially brokers for the sharing economy, basically taking a cut for introducing a provider to a renter, essentially, and then taking up to 40% cut for that. Yeah. They also hold on to things like your identification data. So they'll hold on to on a centralized server, your ID, photo of your ID, your full rental history, credit card information. And we see that as a huge risk. And then also on top of that, there are a lot of other companies that are involved in the sharing economy, which is like rental companies that are simply renting stuff out, improving utilization of products and stuff like that, that are really hard to find. So through ShareRing, by providing a marketplace and all of the tools and all of the blockchain that allows you to sort of rent products out, we're solving dozens of problems in the industry.
Yeah, brilliant. So it's kind of like a one-stop shop in a way for different sharing protocols or ideas and that kind of thing.
Yeah, that's right. So basically, we're offering three things. One is a marketplace, which is essentially a one-stop shop. So there's apps that allow people to sign up and rent objects and search through the directory. There's the blockchain, so we're actually developing our own ledger as part of it. So we're using Tendermint and also the Cosmos SDK to build our blockchain, and that's allowing others to sort of bring their own protocols in for the sharing economy, build their own dApps on top of it, build their own smart contracts on top of it. But also it's essentially the engine of basically what we're creating to sort of power the sharing economy as well.
Brilliant. Awesome. So with yourselves, are you guys an ERC20 at the moment?
We are now. We will be migrating over to our own blockchain in the future when we launch that.
Yeah, brilliant. Awesome. Happy days. So with your coin, I'm guessing that's going to be the utility for payment between, or?
No, so basically we've got two tokens. So one of the tokens is something called SharePay. So SharePay is actually like a stable coin. So that's something like the currency for the sharing economy. One of the things that we're offering with that is, let's say a merchant has a QR code, just like on Alipay or WeChat Pay or other mobile payment systems. Yeah. When you scan that QR code, instead of just paying them, what it does is it also initiates a smart contract that will send your identification to them and allow them to sort of see and validate that ID, and then also reputation information and that sort of stuff. Yep. We also do settlements to the provider's bank account, and then also can charge your credit card. So you don't have to know how to buy cryptocurrency to use SharePay. You can actually use standard traditional banking, and then also avoid foreign currency transfer fees, because we go via a sort of a crypto, a bit of trickery that we sort of use in crypto to avoid foreign currency transfer fees when you're renting stuff from overseas. The other token we've got is called Share Token. Now that's the utility. So that's what we actually sold during the ICO. So we're running a proof of stake consensus model. Okay. So the utility is essentially the transaction fees on the network, and they go to the stakeholders that are basically helping us form part of the consensus.
Brilliant. That's really cool. Awesome. So do you guys have a, like a working prototype or something at the moment that you've released and letting people sort of dabble with at the moment, or not quite yet?
Yeah, so we do have a prototype. Actually, we've got a couple. So we started in partnership with a company called Keys, which I founded in 2012. And Keys is a car sharing company, so they do white label car sharing. So we're actually using some of their apps and website and platform, moving that over to blockchain and prototyping with that. So we do have a working product with that at the moment. We also have a test net for the share ledger up and running. So it's doing bookings, transferring share pay, and a number of things. But they're all sort of still in private beta. We are opening that up soon for some people to basically test the ledger, sort of, analyze it, and do some play around with it a little bit. So we'll probably be opening that up in the next few weeks.
That's really cool. Awesome. Because I think one of the, it's always good to see when, different working products and platforms and prototypes are starting to come out. Because I think that's one of the biggest things at the moment in the crypto industry. There's a lot of ideas, but there's not a lot of physical. This is what we're actually doing, and you can see where we're doing it. And yeah, I think it's always good to see when people are taking, organizations like you guys taking that really seriously and trying to get stuff out there for people to see that, progress is happening.
Absolutely. I mean, the other thing is we've started committing to doing once every 2 weeks we release a video of our progress. So last week we released a video of the sign up process and creating the wallet. Next week we're going to be releasing one about our self-sovereign identity model as well. So creating your ID, storing your ID within the app on the phone, and all that. So it's very important for us to sort of keep releasing videos of the milestones that we're achieving as we continue our development.
That's brilliant. So with you, when you say, like your self-sovereign identity and stuff, so does that sort of link everything into like a kind of a QR code that is you and your identity, or is it an address, or how does that work?
Yeah, so basically when you create an account within the app, it'll create a wallet address on ShareLedger. So that represents you, and you can store either SharePay, which is the currency, or Share Token within that wallet address.
Yeah.
When you, as part of the app sign up process, you need to upload your ID, and that gets uploaded only into the app. And within the app, it'll check with whatever your local KYC provider is. So if you're in Australia, it'll do it through either ID Matrix or one of the other ID providers.
Yep.
And then that authentication will still be stored in the app. And we essentially package the photo, which is watermarked in terms of it has a date and other information over the photo. The KYC approval will be packaged into an encrypted file, and the hash of that file is actually stored on the blockchain. And that means that when your ID is sent to the provider, it's sent on a peer-to-peer basis, so from app to app. And that provider views it, the app will check on the blockchain to validate that the hash hasn't changed at all. So we know that they haven't edited or falsified their ID or anything like that. And then that provider is the only other person that currently has that ID during the period of the rental. And then after the rental's finished and is confirmed he's got it back, that ID's no longer on the provider's phone.
Brilliant. Sweet. Awesome. So it's kind of, I know, because I've heard a very similar project, but it's, I don't know if you've heard of Life ID.
Yes.
And they're very focused on, like you said, the self-sovereign identity, but it's cool how you kind of integrated that kind of, ideal into the system that you're actually using. So you're not going to have to, people aren't going to have a ton of different blockchains going on just to do what they want to do, essentially. So
yeah, and we are also, I mean, the way that the ledger's developed, we are also open to using other existing standards. So there's sort of like ERC 625, which is an identity management standard on Ethereum. So if some providers or dApp developers or something like that want to use their own identity model, they can do that. So the ledger's sort of modular in the way that they can use the identity or reputation engine, or they can sort of integrate it with others. And that's part of the benefit of using Cosmos SDK, because that's all about integration with other blockchains and things like that too.
Sweet. I think moving forward, integration is going to be really important with a lot of projects. And I think you sort of see now with a lot of things going on, there's a lot of standstill that happens because of that. And then trying to change the coding after is just a complete nightmare. And then forks happen and people get confused. And
yeah, exactly.
Community divides, and then business doesn't move forward. It comes to a grinding halt. So that's really, really cool. Awesome. So I think probably because I think with these interviews, probably just want to keep them kind of short and snappy to obviously aware of your time and other people as well. So with I think in the past you've had a few questions come up in regards to when your tokens are going to be unlocked.
Yeah. So I mean, that's probably, we're doing an AMA later this week, and that's probably the number one question on the AMA is when are the tokens going to be unlocked. So we've taken, what we've been doing is we've basically been looking at a lot of other ICOs that ran at a similar time to ours and looking at the results of their unlock and all that sort of stuff. And one of the things that's important for us in terms of maintaining the utility of the platform is to make sure that when we unlock, it's not simply, people don't simply just dump it on IDAX or something like that. So we are planning on unlocking it in conjunction with releasing on a couple of exchanges that we do have, and those exchanges will allow people to basically trade the token in and out to sort of maintain the utility of that token. So it will be soon, and we will be announcing the date soon. We've got some contracts that we're just reviewing that we need to sign over the next few days for those exchanges. And when we sign them, we'll be able to sort of release who the exchanges are and what we're doing. They are new exchanges, and we're really excited to be working with both of them.
Brilliant, awesome. So with that, obviously, it's probably going to be your main utility token that's getting listed then, and the stable tokens more inbuilt into the actual app when that's being used, correct?
Yeah, that's right. So the stable token, we don't see in the foreseeable future, probably at least within the next 6 months, we won't be trading that on any exchanges. So we don't sort of want to fall into the same trap that things like USDT and that have fallen into with being very difficult to audit because they're so easily tradable on various exchanges. So, we will be controlling that at least for the first sort of 6 months before we sort of look at maybe releasing it to the wild a little bit more.
Brilliant. And with the stable token, is that going to be pegged to some kind of a dollar value to a specific country, or how does it work?
Yeah, so initially it's pegged to the US dollar. That's the short-term plan. And when you actually look at it in your app, you can see whatever the Australian dollar value of it is in your app. So you can say, okay, I've got 100 Australian dollars, which is the equivalent of 80 SharePay, for example. So you can actually do it in whatever the local currency and transact in what you might see as your local currency. The idea for us isn't necessarily about creating yet another stablecoin. The idea for us is actually creating something that's easy for the general public to use. We're not going out there saying, hey, here's a great crypto app, you can do all this crypto stuff. What we're doing is we're saying, here's a great sharing economy app. So we're hiding the whole crypto element in the back for the people that are part of the consensus or want to be part of the utility, and then making it so that the rest is made for the public.
Brilliant. So a real focus on the actual blockchain development rather than just here's something to trade and make mad gains on.
Yeah, totally.
Sweet, easy. So is there anything else that you really wanted to go over, Tim, or anything that you wanted to bring up, or?
No, not really. I mean, one of the things, we've got a great community. So on Telegram, if you sort of jump into the ShareRing Telegram community, there's very little FUD about our project. We've got mostly sort of very strong supporters of it. We are running an AMA this Friday as well I think it's going to be running on Facebook. I think it goes on our website as well for that.
Is that going to be through your Facebook page? Or?
Yeah, we're going to do a live stream. So we'll basically allow people to ask questions during the AMA as well. Sweet.
Well, what I might do is do you have an invite for your Telegram as well?
Yeah, so what I'll do is I'll send that to you and you can punch it in the YouTube comments.
Perfect. Yeah, sweet. And I'll put it all together because I'm going to put it on the YouTube and then the Facebook page and the Discord and everything. So that way people can sort of access it from wherever. And same thing, I'll put a link to your Facebook page as well.
Yep.
That way, if anyone wants to join in an AMA as well, they can do that. But other than that, Tim, thank you very much for your time today.
Thanks, Sean.
Pleasure to have you. And hopefully we can catch up again soon.
Yeah, thanks very much. Great to be the first.
Yeah, pop the cherry.
Yeah.
Thanks for that, Tim. Really appreciate it, mate.
See you, bye.
Bye.